Faith is believing in something before you see it. And there's a quote from the Bible that says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. And I believe that to be true because without faith, you wouldn't even know God because God is the unseen. You can't see him. So you're believing in something that you have no real tangible proof in. It's just a knowing inside of yourself. One of my favorite stories about faith is the woman who was healed by Jesus when she touched the edge of his cloak. You know, she was living in a time when she wasn't allowed to physically touch him, but she believed so much in who he was as the Messiah that he would be able to heal her. And she believed so much, she had faith that if she just touched the hem of his cloak, she would be healed. And Jesus said he felt the power go out of him when that happened. And she was healed. And he made certain to tell her that it was not him that healed her, it was her faith that healed her. And so it's believing in these things so much before they've even happened that your faith allows them to come true. And I have this little necklace that I wear. It's a tiny little mustard seed inside of there. And the Bible says, if you have faith but the size of a mustard seed, that nothing shall be impossible for you. You will tell that mountain, move from here to there, and it will go. And I have been working on growing my faith muscle. You know, it's a daily exercise, just like any other muscle. It needs to be worked out daily. And so you are strengthening that muscle every time you step into a dark space, somewhere where you don't know where you're going, and you have to call on the unseen. You have to call on Jesus. You have to call on God. Help me through this. I don't know the way, but you do. If you just stay in some small little safe, comfortable place, you don't really need faith because everything's planned out, everything's expected, everything goes according to your plan, is anticipated. But faith comes into the picture when something washes that away and takes you out of that comfort zone when you're in the swirl. I recently had an example where I was in a really dark dream, and I had to keep coming back to Jesus. And that was what the dream was telling me, like, in the darkness, I'm there with you in the darkness, and you just got to keep turning your eyes back on me. So we were blessed with these beautiful imaginations, these beautiful creative brains of ours that can go anywhere. And fear is imagination just running wild all over the place, making up all kinds of different scenarios. But faith is your imagination focused, so laser focused on one result, on believing in the unseen realm. And I recently saw another quote that I want to share, where faith is having the courage to let God have control. So God actually already has control, but faith is just surrendering to that, knowing that God has you. He's in control. He always has been. And faith is the just relaxing and melting into being able to allow God to have control over you and your life and your circumstances. That's faith.